So every year on October 31st, we talk about the future of our cities. And this year, the big theme is people-centered smart cities. You know, this vision of these high-tech, super efficient urban spaces that are designed to make all of our lives better. But what does that shiny, data-driven future actually look like from the ground? Say in a place like Korogocho, one of Nairobi's largest informal settlements. Can smart tech really bridge a gap that big? Or could it, just maybe, make it even wider?
To really get what a smart city could mean, the good and the bad, we have to try and see it through the eyes of the people who actually live there. So let's start with what a day in the life of Korogocho is really like.
You can see here how Korogocho is literally squeezed between two rivers. But, you know, these aren't some picturesque waterfronts. They're often just choked with the city's waste. A lot of it comes from the Dandora dump site, one of the largest open landfills in Africa, which is right next door.
And an estimated 150,000 people call this place home. Now, that's already a huge number, right? But it gets even more staggering when you see the tiny space they all live in.
Yeah, all of those people living in an area of just about 1.5 square kilometers. The level of congestion is, well, it's almost impossible to imagine. And that extreme density, it shapes every single aspect of life here. The numbers, they really paint a stark picture. Get this, 80% of people are tenants, so they have very little security. More than half of the homes have simple earth floors. Nearly 3/4 of the people who live there feel unsafe. And for almost 2/3 of them, even their water source isn't reliable. These aren't just stats on a slide. This is the daily reality.
Okay, so let's just hold that reality in our minds for a second as we switch gears to this big global idea being talked about on World Cities Day. What exactly is this smart city promise all about?
Well, at its core, a people-centered smart city is one that's supposed to put human beings first. It's about using all this data and tech not just to be more efficient, but to be more inclusive, more sustainable, and to actually give residents a real voice in how their city is run.
And this quote from UN Habitat really gets to the heart of the idea. The goal isn't just technology for its own sake. The gadgets, the sensors, the data, all of it is supposed to just be a tool for building a better, fairer life for everyone.
So, you see what's happening here, right? We've got this tough, on-the-ground reality of Korogocho on one hand, and this high-tech, idealistic vision on the other. And this, right here, is where our central question really starts to take shape.
What happens when these two worlds collide? I mean, can data-driven urbanism really fix the challenges of a place where the most basic needs are things like clean water, safe housing, and just feeling secure when you walk down the street?
And let's be super clear, we're not talking about some abstract concept. We're talking about these 8 distinct villages, each one with its own history, its own social fabric, its own unique challenges. Any solution has to work for the actual people living right here.
So here's where the rubber meets the road. Is this whole smart city idea a source of real, tangible hope for residents? Or is it a false promise that could actually end up making things even worse? Let's break down the arguments, starting with the potential good stuff.
I mean, if this is done right, the benefits could be enormous. Just think about it for a second. Digital mapping could finally put these communities on the official city map. Tech could give residents a real voice in planning their own future. It could help deliver essentials like healthcare and clean water way more effectively. It might even be a bridge to digital education and information.
And, you know, this isn't just some theoretical wish list. These potential benefits line up perfectly with what residents themselves say they need most. Look, better sanitation, better health facilities, and secure housing. The promise of the smart city is that technology could be a really powerful tool to finally achieve these goals.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a very serious flip side. Modernization, especially when it's driven by technology and outside money, carries a massive risk for the people who are already living there.
The gap between the big idea and the daily reality is it's huge. The goal is digital innovation for infrastructure, but the reality is that 70% of households have unreliable water. The goal is tech-enhanced systems, but the reality for more than half the community is still lighting their homes with paraffin lamps. Bridging this gap isn't just hard, it's dangerous.
And this leads to a very specific danger: modernization-induced displacement. You've heard this story before, right? You upgrade an area, property values and rents shoot up, and the original residents, the very people the project was supposed to help, get priced out of their own homes.
And this isn't some distant threat. This slide shows what residents already say is their biggest housing problem. It's not the walls, it's not the congestion, it's high rent. 30% of people say rent is their #1 issue right now. Any project that makes that worse could be absolutely catastrophic.
And beyond just the financial cost, there are these other hidden dangers. New technologies could easily make the digital divide even wider. Top-down improvements can completely destroy the social networks that people rely on just to survive. And without clear legal protections, the threat of eviction is always there, looming in the background.
So, after looking at all the hopes and all the fears, what's the big takeaway? Where does all this leave us? Well, it brings us to a really simple, but I think profound conclusion.
The ultimate objective here, it isn't actually about creating a smarter city. It's not about sensors or algorithms or efficiency just for the sake of it.
The real goal is to build a more just city. A city where technology serves human dignity, where it expands opportunity, and where it protects the most vulnerable. The tech is just a means to a much, much more important human end.
So how do we get there? Well, the path forward is built on some really clear principles. It has to start with genuine community participation, making residents partners in this, not just subjects of an experiment. It demands social justice, pairing new tech with real legal protections against displacement. It means actively working for digital inclusion and using data ethically, so these powerful new tools never become weapons of discrimination.
And that leaves us with the final question. And it's not just for Korogocho, it's for every city in the world. As our urban spaces get more and more wired and data-driven, the most important challenge we face isn't a technical one, it's a moral one. How do we make sure that as our cities get smarter, they are also and always getting fairer?